Um, Hi, my name is Purvika and this is Gokul. We're from Madhi Foundation. We're an NGO that's based in Tamil Nadu and we work primarily on strengthening foundational learning for every child. So we've been working in the space for several years now, primarily on systemic reform, working with government and various stakeholders. I'm the program manager for the Communities Enabling Foundational Learning, the CEFL program. I've been on this project for almost 3 years now.
So I am Gokul, like Purik said, and I work as a product manager with Madhi Foundation, and I've been with Madhi for a little more than 2 years. So I handle the design and development of all the products at Madhi. So we have a language learning app called Enjoy English, and we have an app for the CEFL product that we're talking about, and that is a parent awareness app that we work with the community education workers.
So the idea behind the CEFL program is that we recognize that parents are crucial stakeholders in the child's education, and we want to see how we can enable them to be more active participants in the process, right? So currently, parents are definitely in that sense very actively involved in sending their children to school, identifying tuition centers or learning centers, post-school activities that they can do. A lot of parents that we meet are checking children's homework, checking if they're bringing books back from school, and so on and so forth. But what we're trying to enable is if we're sort of able to give parents the crucial information about what is your child to be learning, what are they currently learning at school, and what level have they reached so far. So have they actually mastered everything they're supposed to be learning or not? And if not, if you're noticing critical gaps in the learning, what are some ways that you can solve those problems by yourself or solve those problems in collaboration with the schools and with the community? And what are some channels that you have to sort of collaborate with the people around you who are also equally important stakeholders and who are equally concerned about your child's education as well? So that's sort of where the idea for the program started. We started this around 2 years ago, working with 200 parents in Chennai and Tiruvallur, and right now we're at a scale of almost 30,000 parents across 4 districts. The way the program operates is we have community education workers, like Gokul mentioned. So these are our staff who we hire and onboard at the panchayat level in that sense. So they are very much rooted in the context and location that the parents are from, and who are able to meet these parents and support them with in-person meetings, support on using the resources that we're creating and sharing with them on how to sort of identify what is my child learning. And how can I do this even perhaps if I'm not very comfortable with the languages or the topics that my children are learning in school. So that's sort of on the programmatic front. You can probably add about the tech.
Yeah, so on the tech front, the CEFL app becomes a one-stop shop for the community education worker to access, manage all the parents' information and carry out some in-person workshops, manage attendance, send out WhatsApp messages through the app, and all of it is managed at one place. And Glific is integrated for all the communication that goes to parents. So all the in-person activities that Purika spoke about are complemented with a very high degree of tech nudges. So that goes as WhatsApp messages. So for every workshop that they have, let's say reminders that go about when is the workshop scheduled for. After the workshop, they have a summary video that they get, and a lot of similar things like this. So what you have realized is not only in-person activities, because the in-person activities happen at a frequency of 1 in 6 weeks, and all the remaining time we engage the parents through WhatsApp on a regular basis with multiple information like this.
So I think like Gokul rightly mentioned, the idea is that our physical and digital go together, right? So for example, if I take sort of the outcome that we're aiming for, that parents are able to identify what their children know, what the children have learned or mastered so far. We are sharing with parents a physical toolkit that has the list of learning indicators for a particular grade and for a particular age, as well as every time they attend a meeting, they get like a small handout, a handbook for parents, where there are some questions or some exercises they can do with their children to identify whether they have mastered these learning outcomes or how far they've come. And then they have a tool where they're able to track the progress of this on a weekly or monthly basis. How we're supplementing that with our digital nudges is that we're sharing videos with them on how to use the handbook. In case they have any questions about how do I ask this particular question to my child, or if my child gives a particular answer, what am I supposed to infer from that answer? So we share videos with them through the Glific platform on how do they use that in an efficient way. So that's one. I think the second is also parallelly to sort of have a checks and balances or sort of just strengthening the system. We also share quizzes for students once a fortnight that they're able to take. And so we also have, in that sense, a sort of understanding of, okay, which of the learning outcomes has the child mastered? which of the learning outcomes are the ones that we need to focus on to begin with. And we're also able to share customized nudges with parents based on that. Here are things that you can do with them as well. So that's one example. The other is, I think, just in overall terms of management of the program, right? So we do have our own app where our community education workers are, they have the list of parents who they are meeting. They're able to mark attendance. They're able to share resources with them one-on-one if they need to. And I think also in the sense through that, we're able to sort of keep all our information in one place. And so that in that way also technology helps. And it also helps in the sense that if you mark a parent as present, they're able to receive a particular kind of nudge. If you mark them as absent, they're able to receive a different kind of nudge. So you're also in that sense filling the information gap and sort of ensuring that a parent who has time as well as a parent who may not or may have had a personal commitment isn't really missing out.
When we initially started off, I think to an extension to what Porika mentioned, what we thought is if parents had the information that they need, then that should be sufficient, right? Because awareness is one of the biggest aspects that we were working towards. But what we realized is awareness alone wasn't sufficient. What they wanted was a toolkit of sorts and some other aspects that is able to motivate them and keep doing that, keep carrying out that toolkit, right? So what we have created is something called as a behavior change framework contextualized first, which is IMAC in short. So what we do is that for every, let's say, a theme that we choose, first we send them an information, and after the information is sent, we send them a relevant action. The action is something like a small activity that they can do with their child, or they can go to the school and talk to the teacher, etc. And then after that, and it's not always possible that they are able to carry out that action because all of them are working or they have other commitments. We also send different levels of motivation. Sometimes it is social motivation, sometimes it is intrinsic motivation related messages, and then finally, once after they have completed, we send them the celebration aspects. So what we are looking to do is that we are trying to leverage AI, understand the different learning levels and the engagement levels of the parents, and then somehow implement this framework to the fullest that could customize it to each and every parent. For a parent who was already at a very high achieving level, we want them to be able to do more and more actions, while at the same time, when a parent is just getting started into the beginner level, we want to understand what are the immediate nudges, what are some of the incentives that they could find in the process that would make it more effective. So we're looking at a mix of, let's say, AI along with our in-person engagement, understand more about the parents. For example, when they are coming to the workshop, what does it mean, what is the level of engagement that they have, and how can that be translated or complemented with the other digital nudges activity. So we're trying to automate a lot of these processes using AI and the software and tools that we have. And the second big aspect that we're trying to achieve is contextualization for the child as well, right? So in the classroom, what's happening is Madhi has also been a very strong proponent of learning level based content and examinations as well. So in every classroom, you have students in different learning levels, and based on that, you will have to customize the assessments. So similarly, when we send the activity for the parents on what they could try out with their children, we want to be able to understand which level the children are in and accordingly send that. For a child who is, let's say, finding it difficult to count numbers up to 100, I can't send them an activities that involves, let's say, digits around 500, and that is only going to demotivate the child and the parent at the same time. So we want to be able to understand where they are and what is a progressive way in which they could also learn in the process. So we're looking at customization and high engagement as the two core activities that we want to carry out in the next few months. Glific has been a very strong enabler, especially in the social sector ecosystem, because it is not just the aspect of using WhatsApp as a medium to do this, but also to understand the nuances of working in the social sectors, working with parents, teachers, etc. So in that manner, already the amount of support system and the knowledge base that is there from Glific has been extremely helpful in carrying this out. What we want to work towards is leveraging WhatsApp groups to the fullest, because what we're also looking at is that increasing, let's say, the social support and validation that parents get in the process, and somehow activate that to the fullest, considering most of them are working parents, and they are unable to be available at a synchronous time in physical space. So we want to be able to use WhatsApp groups as a major medium to start discussions and discourse around this. So I think more and more features that happen through Glific for the WhatsApp group in particular would also be a great help. And secondly, I think in terms of knowledge sharing, so I think all the sprints that we have every now and then, we found it extremely helpful, and which is why we don't miss out on any sprint that is done. And I think but even apart from that, finding new arenas or ways in which the knowledge dissemination can happen from different organizations, that will also be of great help.